Today, we eat blackberries. Come on, let's go. 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 Today, we eat blackberries. Come on, let's go.
Hey, what's up? What's up, everybody? What's up? I'm just working on some little things to tidy this stream up. Hang on with me. See if we can do a good thing tonight. Have fun together. Today is day 15. 15th straight day of myself coming on here streaming. I've enjoyed myself a whole lot, so if nothing else, it's my amusement. We'll see what kind of gang we have hanging out with us tonight. I want to do something that I haven't done yet. I don't know if it's different, but we'll see. We'll see how that works. I'm a little low energy, but it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to get that energy up. I want to put a poll up in the chat, so just give me 1 second on that. I think I made a mistake not putting the poll up. Poll gives me some pretty good engagement, something to go on, something to talk about. So. All right, the poll's up in the chat. If you're hanging out, you want to put a comment in the chat, that's cool. Say what's up. Just happy that you're here. For me, I'm definitely committing to this 15 days straight of streaming. Who knows how long we're gonna go, but I would tell you this: I don't see a reason to stop yet. So I consulted with my you know what, I'm gonna call this person my agent. I've consulted with my agent as if this is something super serious. I've consulted with my agent. My agent said that we're doing a good thing. What I'm putting into the stream is, you know, we're having 1% and 2% improvements every day. And today I didn't work as much on the stream, but I was working on a short earlier, did a little bit of editing, but it was fun. It was definitely a fun day to put some things together. So like I said, I got a poll up in the chat. Usually we get a good amount of people. Hopefully we can get more people just to do a vote. I'll just read off the poll. Are you able to agree to disagree? Yeah, I don't want to jump in. I don't get to vote. So you guys just vote if you can. Tell me if you're able to agree to disagree. You can use whatever context you want. I mean, people always, you know, debating and arguing is a thing, and people always want you to agree to disagree. So what I do want to do, in general terms for today's stream, I do want to bring up some topics, or if people in the chat wanted to bring up some things, and you can just, you know, we'll take it from there, like agree to disagree. That's really the concept that I wanted to start off with. It could be heavy, it could be light. It's really, you know how I roll. It's been like a choose your own adventure kind of situation. So we'll just do that. So finally got rid of my name. I don't need any more self-promotion. So let's go. The first person in the chat, throw something in the chat about what everyone else. I do see at least a handful of people, maybe more. Thanks for that vote. I'm definitely very engaged and interactive. If I see something on the screen, it'll jump at me. So thanks for voting for sure. I did today's 1% increase actually before we start. I'll let me know if you hear it. Was that too loud? Oh, I gotta turn that down a little bit. Yeah, so I finally invested in a soundboard, not invested with money, but invested in time to start working on getting a soundboard, just to bring some more flavor and quality to the stream. Thanks for that vote again. So far, we have two very civil people that are willing to agree to disagree. Such nice people you are. So yeah, we'll get some more votes. They'll come in. I don't want to deter from the message. I do want some topics for those two people who definitely engage. Is there like a topic that you would be interested to know if other people would be willing to agree to disagree, agree or disagree on those topics? I was thinking of one earlier. I should have written it down. It was kind of controversial. Let me just give one minute to anybody who wants to dump something in the chat, and then we'll get started. So I do have two sounds on my soundboard now. I just showed one. So look, don't try to tell anybody, give me a copyright strike, but that definitely comes from a beat that I made 20 years ago, and it might have some Little Mermaid sound in there of Ursula. So we'll see where that goes. Hopefully nothing comes of it. But yeah, so I got that soundboard, and then I have
About my business.
Leave Out My Business, which is a former tag of mine. Yeah, so I hope you like that. Like I said, 1% increase, 1% improvement every day is what we're going for. I made a little bit of adjustments on the camera today, so hope that works. My energy is not that high, like I said. I don't know how long we'll be in here. I'm not gonna do a recap. Um, we got another vote, cool. So sometimes, oh man, first of all, see, this is what I can't. You know, you're an
About my
underdog.
business.
Oh, make the pick. My guy is here. Yeah, we out here. Make the pick. So Child Duran PS3. Who is the best rapper alive? You want to know what's so interesting about? So that's just a general question. Why don't you throw your best rapper alive, and we'll get an agree or disagree, hopefully in the chat, and I'll give you my answer to that as well. But yeah, I think for whatever reason, when I come to the stream and I'm kind of digging for, like, how I'm gonna do it, how I'm gonna get from, moment to moment. Is it a topic? Is it just flowing with it? Is it freestyle? I've never thought of music, so thanks for that. I really appreciate that. Action Bronson. Wow. Wow. I think he's just, so you get these gaslighting people. I think Mick the Pick might be one of those gaslighting people that just throw something out there that they know people are going to say something about. He has great music. I still can't get over the fact that how close he sounds to Ghostface Killer from the Wu-Tang Clan. But yeah, I did totally disagree with that. Let's just get a total disagreement. It's a hard question, but go for it. Go for it, Child Duran. Go for it. Let's do it. That's always we're so stuck on the goat kind of conversation. No matter what we do, we need a goat, right? It's not just a good comparison. You better do your research, make the pick. I want to say they actually had a fight over the whole thing because, way back when Action Bronson was really coming on the scene. I know before he did that cooking show, he was getting a lot of flack, and in those days, I guess copying was more of a problem. You got to give the appropriate homage to really keep that up. So yeah, but I actually like Action Bronson. I fell off. What's his latest material? That'll help me to, maybe I'll check him out later. Child Duran says, because I don't like everything from every rapper. You're not supposed to. They all have their highs and lows. Yeah, I mean, it all depends on what you expect out of rap. I mean, I'm not in my mid 40s yet, but I've been around. I've seen multiple eras of rap go left and right and up and down. But there is there was at least a blueprint of that, and it wasn't really just based on people gravitating to it. You had your real lyricists. You had people that made really good albums. Oh, really? I didn't catch Action Bronson's Tiny Desk. I'm still stuck on Mac Miller's, man. I think if Mac Miller was still around, I think Mac would be top today. I think he would have reached the prime, that prime. He wouldn't care about it, but I think he would probably be very close to the top today. Oh, okay. I'm gonna take that link and save that for later. Make the pick. Thank you for that. Haha. Oh man. Well, you can't say Eminem is the top rapper today because he's not consistently out there as a music personality. That's my favorite rapper. So at the end of the day, I'm with you, Child Duran. I don't think there's a comparison, but again, it's how you it all depends on how you're judging what rap is to you, right? So Eminem is like I love comparisons. Eminem is like Kobe Bryant. Yeah, Rip Mac, man. Eminem is like the Kobe Bryant of rap. In the so look, I don't want nobody. I ain't big enough, but I don't want nobody to clip this. I'm not talking racially anything. I'm saying Kobe Bryant didn't have the skills that he started with. He he outworked everyone. He understood the art and wanted to be the best. Eminem has that same kind of culture. There's not too many people that work hard to be the best, and even though they're already at the top of their game, they do whatever to keep growing. Eminem is also not a person who, he's not in all these controversies. He's not trying to he don't get as much radio play. You can listen to his album front to back. It's an art project. I think Eminem produces art projects, so always in rotation, always in rotation. Who would I put up there? So I don't listen to rap on a daily basis anymore. I got into like a little drill era. Um, I mean, I still listen to FBG Duck from as far as like drill. Rap today. Let me see. Let me see what the internet is saying. If I just put like top 10 rappers today, that'd be a good basis. And I'm really big on lists. Man, this is bad. They started off with Kid Cudi in 50th. They said Drake. They said Drake is the well, Child Duran. Just I know I missed your comment, but yeah, it's not just that he developed; it's that he created a distance between the next person to where how Eminem entered the game. There's only really goofies that want to, go up against him because they have more to gain than to lose. So even a loss to Eminem when you get into like the battle arc, whether it's Benzino or whoever wanted it, Murder Inc. You have more to win just getting into the battle with Eminem. There's not too many people like that. Like Eminem is he's just studied. He's gonna outwork everybody. He's probably in the lab right now. He's probably making albums that he does not release. That's what I think of him. I've watched I remember the first time. I remember the first time I heard Eminem. I literally remember the first time I heard Eminem. My brother, my older brother, he's 8 years older than me. He was a big No Limit fan, and he was like, "Yo, you gotta check this out." And I'm a teenager, and I heard it, and right away, like I got it. It was like instant. I got it. So then I started, digging for the underground stuff because that was the thing. I mean, you're talking like in the Napster era, there was so much accessible online, so much fake stuff, so much stuff that you could dig and find. So I would go on Napster and Kazaa and just go download all this like underground Eminem stuff. And I got really acclimated. So I understood his style. So like Eminem's first style, if you check out the Infinite EP, he had more of a style like Nas. It was you could feel the positivity. It wasn't about, even though he spoke about drugs and all of that, it wasn't about, you know, Britney Spears, and it really wasn't like pop culture related. Mick the Pick is trying to start a war. Thoughts on East Coast versus West Coast? As far as again, I was pretty young, but I did get to take man, cause I didn't even remember. Yeah, man, those were the times, man. I got some classic stories about being. I remember I was in college, and I would stay at the computer lab all night, man. And because you weren't on your own IP or whatever, and I would just be downloading like music all night. Throw it on a disc or old school MP3 player. Like that was real fire. But you age yourself. You definitely just age yourself if you know what that is. Nick the Pick, talking about East Coast, West Coast. I mean, I wasn't old enough for it to be a thing because I appreciated music from both sides, but it was more like yeah, definitely was a lot of viruses. It was more like like when you watch the internet and you see gang culture is different in a lot of places. Well, in many places where you grow up determines how you operate. Like Kendrick Lamar, good example. Like speaking of music, Kendrick Lamar, he hold on one second because I like to try to be cool with what I'm doing here. How did I do that? I don't know how I did that fast. But so Kendrick Lamar he's supposedly not gang affiliated, but he's affiliated by default. So that's kind of how the culture was like growing up. If you were East Coast, West Coast. So I don't have an opinion on it. I appreciated the music, from on both sides. But when everything, went down, and I'm growing up and learning, like, to one extent how serious this was, I think my real thoughts are the tragedy on why immaturity allows certain artists, and when I say artists, I genuinely mean like some of these people, we could name off a lot of, sad to say, but a lot of rappers. These are like the Michelangelos of our time. Like these are real artists. These are people who many of us can see through their lens because that's just not, we didn't grow up around that or like that. So, where I grew up, I was able to be sort of like in the Kendrick alignment where I understand and I see what's going on. I have friends that I understand it, but I don't want to be over there, and I'm not going to engage in that. In fact, it was a lot easier back in those days not to engage, because if you was about something, if you was going to school, they wanted you to go to school. They wanted you to get up out of this neighborhood and move on. So, but yeah, that's a good flashback. Good question, Nick the Pick. Let me see. Yeah, man, we were downloading. Actually, one time I got a letter. I got a letter to my house from I think it was Optimum, and I downloaded like a movie by accident. You download so much that I downloaded the wrong thing and didn't even care about it, and it turned out that the thing that I tried to download, a show, I think it was a TV show. I've never seen the show, and they sent me a letter to my house saying that they was gonna fine me 250,000, and my mom's was going crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, the world is different. Um, you know, Kids do have the internet at their fingertips, but let's go into that. Just from an agree or disagree. Uh, is the internet more impactful like today than it was in, let's say, the 90s? Because I was there and I was a kid in the 90s, and I remember my engagement on the internet, and now that I have children, I'm able to see their engagement, on the internet. So, agree or disagree? First one of you, shoot. What I'm phrasing is the internet more impactful today from an information standpoint today than it is in the 90s. Child Duran. Yeah, I mean, hey, I wanted to agree. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely an opinion in a negative way. What I would say is, and make the pick, I'll read your comment in a second. What I would say is, um, you, how do I put this? It's information is not the problem. Um, it's how we use it. We've grown different skills, um, and it's not a fair comparison because the skills were different in the past than they are today, and so you're using different skills and different tools, so it's really hard to compare. Make the Pick says, I think that the 90s, 2000s internet felt more special, like nostalgic, right? There were sites you could go to, each with their own purpose. Yeah, we've definitely lost a diversity of the purposefulness of the internet as a whole. I definitely agree with that. Now it's 5 apps that have consolidated a lot of the user bases. Yep, but who do you blame for that? I mean, for me, that's a reoccurring theme and topic that I like to talk about. I don't know if others like to hear that, but these companies, they played a trick on us, and they weren't, you know, at this point, a lot of these companies, including the platform that we're on right now, they're aging, and at some point there's going to be a new kid on the block, and they're going to take this somewhere else. I just hope that the 5 apps doesn't turn into 2 apps, right? So it's up to the people to start saying, no, we need some form of kazaa, and we're going to make independent music, and we're going to pump out independent music through there, and we're going to figure out how to protect it from copyrights, because we're not selling the music. What we're doing is we created a gamified point system that people could trade. Right? Like, and then that's how the artists like get paid. Yeah, I mean, Chaldoran says, I think more impactful, yeah, just because it's more accessible. I uh, I don't know about that, man. Thanks for whoever just voted in the chat. Really appreciate you. We are having a conversation. As of right now, we're talking about like the internet and its impact now versus, I guess, 25 years ago. Yeah, I really don't know about whether it's more impactful from a common conversation perspective, but those who lived it, I was able to find information on the internet before. So why would you think that that's any different? I think the challenge back then was, if you were in school and you wanted to use that information, you were told that that's not an appropriate source. So we were kind of like behind. We didn't come into this new arc of the internet. But I think the internet could be exactly how it was. I think it comes down to what Mick the Pick said. There's a lack of diversity. You have people that see the internet as social media, and that's very sad, because if social media is the internet, then all of your information is going to be confined to social media, right? And all those other entities and apps, they really won't exist. It does consider what you mean impactful, right? I like that, and I like how you think, because the words do have meaning, and as you break that down. Code 56975. I feel like I'm like an operator. I think there's a YouTube outage. Oh, okay. Mick the Pick just told you. Yeah, Mick the Pick is on it. He got like a stat. He's looking at the status of YouTube. There should be like a status page. What we got? I'm just checking to see. I'll post it if I find anything good. Yep, it says we're detecting down. Yeah. I don't know what that means. PSA, do you think Clav was brutally framed by the ASU frat leader? I don't know what that means. If you want to break that down to me, I'm more than willing, or throw a link in the chat. I'll do some observation on it. Yeah, that sounds pretty deep. Yeah, it's funny when the outage occurred. Hey, what's up, HV1? When the outage occurred, I was watching a stream. This guy that I've been getting acclimated to is a really good streamer. Um, he somebody was in his chat, and I'm a software engineer, so I'm pretty used to, like, knowing where the outages are, and how to look for them. But I like that kind of topic because when we talk about, oh, no, I love when the Unk stuff come in the chat. Unk don't do no looks, Max. I don't know what that mean either, boy. Yo, the language, man. You guys, weren't we supposed to do that? We were on the other night. We were talking about all these words, these, like, I don't even know if they're new, but things that I don't understand. And so when I get on here, I'm trying to flow through. Obviously, I could read, but the context without the voice, without the people, it's really hard sometimes. But yeah, you about to go down a rabbit hole. I don't know. I don't know if we're going down a rabbit hole. I just want to do agree or disagree. You guys have anything else that'd be cool since we're all vibing here? Do you like another topic or something? Maybe we don't have to go down a rabbit hole. That's okay. I'm seeing 7 votes. So far, everyone is able to agree to disagree. All right, I'm gonna check out Looks Max, and there we go. What the heck is this? Looks Maxon is an online subculture originating from incel forums and popularized on TikTok, focused on maximizing physical attractiveness through soft methods, diet, grooming, and hard methods, cosmetic surgery. Yeah, I definitely disagree with that one. Yeah, no, Mick the Pick. I didn't know it was Mick the Pick. Thank you so much for bringing to my attention. Um, I try not to do something that's gonna get me in trouble on here or say something, but essentially, I didn't grow up like that. I grew up very different, and when I say that, what that really means is, um, we all didn't have. Speaking of the internet, when I was in high school, man, if you was not getting attention, like if you weren't the top person, if you weren't the popular person, you couldn't even have a phone. You couldn't even have a beeper. None, like, phones weren't really there yet, but you couldn't even have a beeper. So as far as looks, man, you gotta do what you gotta do, but you can't be doing it the way that you're gonna hurt somebody or hurt yourself. I don't agree. I mean, sure, if you do it the soft way and you do dieting and grooming, that's just living. That's just normal, living. If I'm reading this definition the right way, but we put too much into that, right? I think we put too much into that, and the internet is just a place to field the microscope, and everyone's changing. I don't disagree with that, but I think we do too much as far as looks, and we just need to present ourselves as we are. And the one person that needs to approve of how you look is in the mirror. That's generally how I feel about that. So if you keep a mirror in your house and you look in the mirror, if you have a problem, then you do something about it, and that's my way. But again, I don't impose on other people. I just think that we're getting to a dangerous um, part when we're talking about cosmetic surgery. We're talking about all of these shots that have extreme side effects. We don't even know how to eat properly. Like we don't even have a diverse diet, right? And yeah, you try and send me down a rabbit hole once we start talking about food. Let me just see. Oh man, about to go down. Okay. Okay, so I checked out Looks Max and I hope I got it right. It's the guy who does streams about looking good or better, and this fat leader was on the stream. Okay. Okay. I'll have to check that out. I'll get back about that. I'll have to check that out. I'm not on any other platform. I don't know if you want to open that chat. Yeah, right. Well, it's a tough, I think it goes without saying that the world is right now is a very sensitive place. If you go back 10 years, you had and I don't know if we're all guys in here right now, but when we had the Me Too movement, I started to see things change a little bit as far as the interaction with people predominantly opposite sex, and I don't want to say the other category, but whatever you claim, I'm okay with that. But all these relationships becomes they started to be sensitive. There started to be questions about how we interact with one another, and then there's only but so much time before you start putting the microscope, back on yourself, and we're just in a weird space. I would have to agree and say he did get brutally frame mogged for what it's worth. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a interesting internet moment. Yeah. Well, I don't know if that's like along the red pill, like telling someone else how something should be. I don't know why, but why would there be a lack of exploration? If the internet is in a good place, right? In a better place, there's more information. Yeah, we're not going to talk about the data centers that we need, which are destroying the environment for us to keep chatting. So let's not talk about that part. But as the internet and data has grown and access is there, um, what are we doing with it, right? So we're leaving room open for these types of people to tell someone else, and it's just a basic insecurity problem to have the need to tell somebody else how they should be framed or looking. And so yeah, I actually do, if what you're saying, like frame mog. Let me type that, let me search that up, because you guys got the good vocabulary. I'm still stuck on unk. I went from just being a regular dude to a dad to unk to OG. When I go play basketball, I'm considered OG, as if I'm out there throwing hook shots or something. I don't even think AI could help me with this term. This one is going to take some time for me, and I will do my research and come back to you guys. Yeah, okay, so it's honestly more of a meme than anything. Most things are. Most things are these days. Um, that's kind of just what it is. So I did want to real quick. I please hold on with me. I just want to shout out the fact that from my end, maybe we don't have a high amount of concurrent views, but Chalderan PS3, I really appreciate you, man. You've really been awesome to hang out with. Please subscribe. No pressure, but I think as I keep doing this, I'm really looking for a good group of, you know, what we call from a political angle, like a critical mass of people. It doesn't really cost much. You're gonna spend your time with somebody, so why not hang out here? I'm trying to grow definitely on what I'm doing on YouTube. Like I said, this is my 15th straight day. I don't really have an end goal yet. I am from my agent is telling me just to keep it up, keep it going. I've been learning the tools and getting better at it. Thanks, man. You already sub? Oh man, I totally appreciate that. So what I would ask while you're here, obviously, you've taken the time. If you have any feedback for me on how I could improve the stream, let me know. I'll definitely take that into consideration. I've grown a lot in 15 days. I feel like I could come on here and have a conversation at any point, but there are some days where, like my Sunday night stream, I was saying it yesterday. I worked so hard to have this. Like, I prepared and had this great topic, and then I joined and no one was here. It was like, so I didn't lose my cool or anything, but I do other things. I come on and play games at times. So I play a little bit of Rocket League. I may play retro games. I still don't know. I mean, I'm not really chasing this dream of like what really is going to work or put me over the top. I think my initial thing is fighting the algorithm so that I get when enough people join that I'm entertaining at that point, or I'm actually really, doing what I need to do so that we can get enough views to have this nice back and forth. And the more that happens, the more I think we'll have a lot of good information that comes out of this. Drop you a like too. I just be scrolling through lives trying to find something interesting and stop here. I really appreciate that. And I definitely will be having a lot more, some long, some upload videos. Not everything on a short, but real quick, if you have a second, I can't play the sound, so I'll just put the sound to this. I did tell myself, because I work hard making it short. You might see it because you're subscribed to me, but if not, I just wanted to show it to you guys real quick. Make the pick if you're still hanging out. We have 7 votes, so we're pretty much, at a good point. The question was, are you able to agree to disagree? Yes, looks like it's winning with 57%. No, 14%. Sometimes 29%. So I'm gonna just show this real quick. It literally is 60 seconds. That'll give me enough of a break, and then I'll be right back. Just tell me what you think. So you're only gonna see the audio. Excuse me, you can see the audio. You're gonna see the video, and the sound that's there is gonna be there, but that's not the sound that's on the short. It's actually Bad and Bougie by the Migos. So let me just play that real quick if I can. Sorry, I'm still working out the kinks over here. Things. I know you didn't hear any sound. I'm so sorry about that. I'll play it again with the sound if you want. But one of the limitations with the shorts is if you use the sound, when you upload the video and you attach the sound in the library, you can't have any sound on your video. So I actually have a video that was cut. I made that yesterday, and but it's like I said, it's bad and bougie. Let me see if I could just throw a link in the chat to it. Give me 1 second. But yeah, man, I just, like I said, I have fun. I have chickens, I have worms. I generally just, I like to have a good time. It's been hard to translate that into this platform. I always think about this thing where people they understand themselves as a small they understand. Sorry, I put the link in the chat. If it doesn't block it, you can check that out. But yeah, so people, when you have ideas, right, you start in this ideation phase. I got a big old a big old board. Well, what happened, Chowderan, was that I'm in OBS, and the sound that I have playing in the back, probably that was just competing with my voice, but the sound that I had playing in the back wasn't on the scene of the short. That when I switched the scene, it wasn't there. So I could put it there, but that's the actual link to it that I posted in the chat on YouTube. But yeah, what I was saying is when you think about an idea, right? You start ideating over it. You brainstorm. You probably tell someone. Me personally, I have trouble with ideas because based on who I tell, I may not get a lot of feedback or vibration or constructive ideas. I think when you're in the brainstorming phase, you don't want to have too many blockers or shutdowns. So, there's a personality type of people that need a sentence to end, and then there's certain people who keep adding commas and ands and ands. And when you're in brainstorming, it's like, let's see, let's continue to design something. When that's done, you could bring it all back. So like what my channel is right now is more of the brainstorming phase. And even when people are in the brainstorming phase, they could think about what it's like being super successful. So, you want to start a business. You think about, oh, well, we could make millions with this. I was telling a friend about a food truck, food cart idea I had. And when you talk about it, it's like, okay, you want to do something, that's an idea. And you automatically think about what it's like to be successful at that thing. That whole middle part, the execution, is literally what separates the people that we watch be successful and everyone else. Because we generally all have good ideas, right? But the execution of it, understanding how to look at things and use your strengths. Or one of the things that I learned last year was I like working with people that I like working with. That's a flaw, because in business you have to learn how to utilize people whether you like them or not. Not use them, but utilize them. And you have that contract and that agreement. So execution is where we struggle. Everyone wants to make $1 million or could see themselves doing something that is super successful. Everyone thinks about doing something. That whole time in the middle of going from the something that you think about to you making it big, we don't think about and we don't stress about. So thanks for even trying to watch that short. Editing is not I get a little frustrated with it, but this year, that's the first short that I've posted. No, excuse me. That's the second short that I posted. The other one I really didn't have to edit because it was just like 2 shots. But Yes, it's not the funnest thing. I actually wanted to be a video editor. That was when I went to school. That's what I wanted to do. Um, I mean, I have it in me. I have it in me, but since I have not done that for a long time and I don't have like the environment to do it, editing is like one of those don't distract me professions. I'm in what's supposed to be a don't distract me profession right now, but that's not how it works out. But yeah, don't distract me. If I'm working on a movie, I need a computer that could keep this, program open with this Final Cut Pro. Um, what else we got? What is Avid, Adobe, Premiere? Software is probably a better choice. Oh man, don't get me to talk about that. It sounds good. Again, the people are so surface level that when we think about doing these things, and if you have children, or if you're going to have children, or if you engage with children, please be honest with them. That is my only request. I have never been more honest than after I had my children, because my children forced me to reflect on my life and all the lies or deception that was there about things that people say that we don't really go deeper on, right? So you said software is probably a better choice anyways. The way my brain works, I think that video editing was a better choice for me. I'm a natural problem solver, sure, but the industry of the way software works, you're not necessarily a creative. You can be, if they would allow you to be, but it's driven by the business, right? On the contrary, video editing, when a company films something, the editor is not involved at that point. When the editor gets what is filmed, it is the editor's job to take, like, they're in control at that point, and they're taking this vision that is on paper and it's matched with, everything that's all of these different shots in this story. And sometimes that story has to change based on the discretion of the editor, because you may not have it, or that scene, these things are budgeted. So maybe you can't reshoot a particular scene. Maybe you don't have the money for that. And the editor finds a way to like pull it together. And there's also gotchas in there. So I actually think that for me, the way that I think, the offering that I want, I like when I build something for people to be impacted. And I actually believe that videos, whether it's modern day YouTube on demand or movies, I think that movies have a longer evergreen value than anything that we put on the internet. Because, like, let's say, social media, you go backwards. So you got Instagram, you have Facebook before that, you have MySpace before that. No one is able to reach or tell you, or it holds no value as to what a MySpace page is today. In 5 years, that's going to be Facebook, right? And even when MySpace was there was GeoCities and tripod.com. We were making websites that pretty much articulated our voice, and we just had more control over it. MySpace made it more profile based. But if you look in the Wayback Machine, I mean, there's millions of people who design websites, free websites on these platforms, and their voice was captured in there, pictures and goofy MIDI sounds, and it was all there, right? So that voice that exists keeps going through a phase, and it's going to be gone. Tell me the movies that are gone. The movies aren't gone. The books aren't gone, right? I asked a friend, just to have an overlap to technology. And hopefully you're still here. I'm more of like a go off on a tangent. I like to see the overlap of topics and how they correlate with each other. Um, so what was I gonna say? So like AI, um, AI is here. It's here to stay. It's gonna turn into, it's gonna evolve into something, right? I don't want to get into the good or the bad. That's not what I want to talk about. To to make my point about these forms of art and them being long lasting, right? Every book that was ever written and ever will be written can fit on a disc. Think about that. We've gotten to the point that every book that was ever written and ever will be written can fit on one disc. So the challenge is, why aren't they giving you the disc? That's what we're up against. It's not whether something's possible. It's that they don't want you to have it. Let me just read in the chat. So this is a question. Do you think that has to do with the attention span of different generations? Specifically, if we're talking about, I'm sorry I didn't catch the comment right when you said it. Make the pick. Can you just tell me exactly what I was talking about, and I'll go back to it. I think I know what you're saying, but I'll go back to it. They aren't gone, but their old movies still appreciated in the same way, though. Yeah, I mean that's the point. Is that what are you appreciating websites that are old? Are you appreciating apps that are old? So we've created this sort of throwaway concept. The internet is now a throwaway concept because my data is here today and gone tomorrow. I think that thanks, Mick the Pick. So I'll read it in that context. So the question was, do you think that has to do with the attention span of different generations, as far as like movies and stories lasting longer? No, I think that the medium was designed to actually fit people. I don't think that technology, the way we see it, as far as computers are based on the obviously the origins are people, right? When you look at a disk, the disk is how the brain functions. So you have to like the old school defragging your disk. The way that data is being stored was mapped based on how people understood it at that time. So though there's evidence of the image of us, we've taken this now to a point where there's no real correlation. So because of the speed, we have a disconnect, and we don't, there's a word I'm reaching for. It has to do with something that can be thrown away, like it's expendable. That could detail it. There's definitely a stronger word, but a lot of the technology that we engage with and interact with is expendable. But then the flip side of that is that companies, they've created a world where they need to profit. At the same time, they've created a world that they don't have. They need to generalize the world, so they speak to, gestures speak to kids. A 2-year-old kid, maybe a 1-year-old kid, could learn most of your gestures. So in a Star Trek like society with, intelligent adults, I want the phone that I can have adult based gestures. Why do gestures have to be simple? Well, we're not going to do this 10 different ways. We're going to do it one way, and we're going to mass produce it, and we're going to compete, to be the top company. So it really comes down to money. In a certain way, yeah, sure. I probably appreciate a lot of websites and older stuff other people don't care about, but it's all subjective right there. Probably a million older things I don't care about. Sure it is definitely. I see your point. Um, I'm kind of talking from a piece of art, like so art piece. Maybe you may not care about it, but when that art piece is made, we are connected to the distribution of that art piece, but the art piece like survives as its sort of its like the master, what they call like the master tape, right? So the distribution would be like the VHS tape that we have, or the DVD, or the Blu-ray. That can break, that can get messed up, but the piece of art that was created, it's appreciated as such. If you come to the internet, all I gotta do is not pay my website. I got just not pay my hosting company, and that website doesn't exist anymore. There's definitely, so me and Mick the Pick were talking about this the other day. Since you got some age on you, Chalderan, miniclip.com. It's not a thing anymore. It's not a thing anymore. I spent, the better at least 20 years on miniclip, just as a backup to boredom, and just let me just go do something fun and goofy, and I don't have to download something. I don't have to have a console. Back in those days, I don't need a PC disc. This is like pre-Steam, and I can go to miniclip. So the nostalgia of miniclip is gone because it doesn't exist anymore. So now it only lives in a story. It doesn't live as an artifact. Can't get it from anywhere. But other people do, and I guess that is the beauty of it all. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, you're gonna get your heart broken. I got my heart broken a couple weeks ago. Miniclip was gone, man. The website was there was no games to play. So, hey, we've been rocking out for. I still got to work on my celebratory sounds, but we've been rocking out for at least an hour now. See, miniclip is like the root of my childhood, guys. See, and that's the thing. We've reached the era where, so one, you're gonna start aging. You're gonna get into your unk phase, right? And those things won't exist anymore. But when I was growing up, like the movies and the cultural connections that I had to, like, let's say a movie or a TV show, they still exist, right? Those things still exist. In fact, they not only still exist, that in syndication, which what used to be syndication on cable is now syndication in Netflix and these different media companies that are trying to pull in and to reignite their user population, or to pull people in to convert people, and they're continuing to reuse that. So think about that. I'm saying that that's a piece of art. Miniclip is a piece of art. Why isn't Miniclip being pulled in from a media platform to take those users, the people who 2 times a year, if each one of us who grew up on Miniclip 2 times a year go into Miniclip, there's revenue to be made. But because these things are so expendable, we just move on, right? I actually, there was a project, let me just find it. Actually, it's called Pebble. I don't know if you guys remember the Pebble watch, Pebble Time. Pebble was, Pebble, if I'm not mistaken, Pebble was the first. It was the most successful Kickstarter project when it came out, and I'll draw the connection of what I'm saying. Let me just see if they still have the Kickstarter up. Man, speaking of nostalgia, Look at this. All right. Check this out. So, Pebble. Hold on, let me just make it look a little better. So Pebble. I don't know if you remember that watch. Any of you guys remember that watch? So this is to me another um indication of like an era that I don't feel like how you can recreate this when the internet is now just based on, you know, social media sites and interactions, and that's where you do all of your discovery. Um, Let me just make this a little larger. All right, so I'll give you a background story and my personal connection, and then I'll tell you. We could wrap things up after that, but I'll explain. So obviously, you know what Kickstarter is. I don't know how big Kickstarter is anymore, but let's do this the right way. Let's see if there's a date on this. So look at that. So we're 10 years. So almost 10 years. December 7th. It was that's just last updated. I don't even know if that was created. So 10 years ago, this company, the watch was called Pebble Time. I forgot the name of the company. Well, it says Pebble Technology, so let's ride with that. They don't exist anymore, so there's nothing that I could say that is bad, or you know, they don't exist. So Pebble, on this Kickstarter campaign, had 78,471 backers. So those are individuals who looked at this concept and said, "We need this." I actually am not one of them because I purchased it when it became mainstream, but I was aware of it. I was a little bit skeptical. You're absolutely right, Make the Pick. I have two in my house that need to be fixed. One of them, I need to fix the vibration on it, but I'll explain, you know, how we got there, and you can see how what was possible is kind of like not anymore, and maybe we can come to some conclusions and draw some reasons as to, you know, it's a problem for me, I could tell you that, but we could see. So $20 million, let's just say $20.5 million, this company raised. I don't know the background story as far as did they have any larger backers, but the storyline was they came out, they had this cool video. Now the Apple Watch was already either in the works or it was a thing being sold. Smartwatches are not new. Smartwatches have they date way before smartphone actually. Just watches that do more. That's, you know, so this watch, what makes it the modern concept of a smartwatch is that it was able to connect to the phone. What made Pebble better than the other watches, one, it wasn't designed around having a watch that was like a phone. It was a mix between, if you know, what's the Barnes and Noble's product? What is their reader? Do you guys know the reader that Barnes and Noble's made? The Nook. Yeah, the Nook. So it had a paper screen. Like the screen wasn't illuminated the same as your phone. So it was easy on the eyes. You could see it in the sun. There was no issues. But this Pebble was able to connect to Androids. Okay, so there's a Nook and Kindle is Amazon, Make the Pick. The Nook is Barnes and Noble's product. So the Kindle actually went the direction of tablets. I hate that they did that. They had to have a tablet, and in their tablet, a lot of the apps that you don't have to pay for in a regular Android tablet, you do for the Kindle because it's actually a separate Android Linux-based OS. So they have their own separate Kindle marketplace, and they double down, and you got to pay for certain things. How do I know? Because I've been there. So yeah, so the Pebble Time was cross-platform. You weren't you could use it on an iPhone. You could use it on Android. I believe you could use it in Windows Phone as well, which was a thing at this time. So obviously, iPhone's going to dominate the market. Oh no 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 no! Don't swim with your Pebble. The Pebble was at best the Pebble was water resistant. You know that term water resistant, but it definitely wasn't waterproof. And again, ask me how I know. The other Pebble that I have to fix, some water had gotten it, but that's a whole nother. You caught me. You caught me. So yeah, so they made this, and they tried to differentiate themselves on the market. So they made one with like a rubber band, and then they made one with a steel band. It's a cool watch, a cool concept. It says that. Hold on, no, no, no. Did I miss that? Oh, let me just do swim on. No, 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 no. You look. I didn't need to read this, but you better read the whole sentence. So I said water resistant, right? And then it says, we do not, however, recommend taking underwater. So yeah, hey, you need to read the whole thing. But I knew better. I love the watch. I love having it on. So why am I telling you about this? So this to me was an era. This was an era that I don't have to go iPhone or Apple Watch. I don't have to go Samsung, or if the other, manufacturers want to make a watch, I don't have to do that and be held to that particular company. I could just go in the middle. Now I'm gonna double down as a software engineer. You could actually make apps. Yeah, yeah, definitely. They definitely tried to sell this swim. You're gonna be buying another one. It wasn't super expensive, but you're gonna be buying another one if you think it's swimmable. But yeah, so you could make. So they had a marketplace of apps in here, and it was that rugged community. It's the people. So you could write in JavaScript. I forgot if it was like C sharp or just another language, and they had an online IDE. It was this whole cool thing that you could hook up to it. I never actually made an app. Like I did like little Hello World apps, but it worked. Like I'll bring it on stream. If I could find it, I'm pretty sure I could find a charger. The only thing is mine doesn't make sound, which wouldn't matter, but we could actually, I probably could still make an app. So they this was rocking out. It looked like it was working. I was super excited. I was a soundboard for this, and next thing you know, I think they did another round of the next Pebble watch. They had another massive I think they broke this record, the $20 million, and then the company got acquired by, I want to say it was Fitbit, and this is before Fitbit went to Google, and then Fitbit. So look at this, Pebble has been reborn. Check it out. So then Pebble became uh Pebble got kicked to the side because why would I don't know why they took it. Why did Fitbit even see value in the watch. So all these people that got this watch, and like Mick the Pick said, there's still a secondhand market for this watch because it's a really cool concept. But then some company named this is Repebble. I remember there's an app called Rebel, and so that's it's a cool nameplay. But they actually were able to remake or take the technology and keep it going. And then they kept it going, but now we're in this it looks like people are still selling this, but we're in this underground space, right? So this is the darkness. So this actually says it first launched in 2012. So we're at 14 years now. 14 years ago is when all this went down. So to me, I think I'm a good judge of the product. I tested the product. I purchased one myself. My former manager, he was done with his because he had to jump into the Apple Watch, and so he ended up just giving me his. So I have two of them. And then next thing you know, they get acquired and they're not in the game anymore. So you can't buy this in a store. When I tell people it's just a nostalgia now, and only people, if you know, you know. If you don't know, you like, what is this? But this was like amazing technology that they couldn't keep up. So we're in this throwaway space. Luckily, this company Rebel, and I will investigate, because just because you see this says new and all of this, I don't know if this is still legit. It looks like they still trying. This looks a little sketchy. I ain't gonna lie. Let me see what they got going on. Okay, maybe they still got something going, but let's just say this: it wasn't a large company. Repebble is crazy. Yeah, no, I'm happy you learned that today. But the thing is, why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we contacting Miniclip and saying we want to take those games forward? What does it take to do a version 2 of those games? At this point, is it even a copyright issue? Because this is like a dump. They dumped this stuff. They just dumped it. And imagine how much people could learn, how much kids could come in here and like, when I say it was a concept of a watch face, so it was like like almost like a screensaver. I remember when what's that game? Is it Flappy Birds? I believe they had like a little Flappy Birds in there, because there's only like 2 buttons on the watch, 2 or 3 buttons total, and you could sit there and play Flappy Birds on the watch. It was a full game that was on the screen. I remember my kids were younger; they would always take the watch and play it. So this was like super cool. Let me just see if I could show you the Pebble Watch IDE. I don't know what that's gonna bring up, but Pebble developers. See, look, they had a whole developer site with documentation. Oh yeah, this is on Rebel. So look, so I don't know what the Repebble, if that's just selling a watch, but this says rebel.io. So they have the SDK, like literally, like you're learning. This is a tool to learn how to code. So I don't understand, because I learned how to start working with, some sort of code at 11 years old independently, because the websites that we use, that was what was required. If you wanted to do something cool, you wanted to add something cool to it, they allowed for you to edit those blocks, and that went away. MySpace confined it. Facebook deleted it. We're now here where there's no HTML, and everything is everywhere else. Someone is hosting it. You want a GIF, it's hosted. You want, like everything is hosted somewhere else. So yeah, this might be something to look into, Mick the Pick, and yeah, it might be something to look into. I wouldn't mind, excuse me, I wouldn't mind putting up a repository, um, getting pulling my watch out, seeing if I can get it connected, which I think I would be able to, and seeing if I could get some code put up here. Let me just see. So simple analog. Yeah, man, this is cool stuff. You see the dates on these things. 11 years ago. Yeah, that ain't too active. Yeah, 11 years. Yeah, so this site looks like it's pretty static. I mean, at least they still take care of it. But that's that, man. That is that. Um, anything else you guys want to discuss real quick while we're here? We went one place to another, some tech talk, which was cool. I didn't think I could do tech talk for whatever reason. Um, I have a very, I guess, like my whole personality is an acquired taste, and when it comes to tech and how I see it, I'm always afraid of imposing an outlook on a wider audience. Yeah, it is sick that they still have this up. Please check it out, man. I'll dump this in the chat. Check it out. It's a good storyline to just understand, and to see how this came from a like a larger entity like company. I believe Google owns Fitbit, and Fitbit has nothing to do with this anymore. So this is there have been millions of dollars, like tens of millions of dollars that went into this whole project, and you know it it's just done. It's not done, but it's sort of underground, right? And that's what I remember from the internet. I remember things feeling underground. One technology, I'll tell you right now. I've not done this on stream. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. I don't know if my cord is big enough. Oh, I could pull it. I've not done this on stream, but I do have a little bookshelf behind me, and I don't get rid of my older books. It did all start with some brainstorming, man. That's it. You're right about that. Let me see. Alright, so this and this. So I have do you know what that is? Chaldoran, do you know what that is? Oops. Just- And so um first of all, let me just say thank you, because I wouldn't even have known that I was still on the other view. That's why we need people like you. I'll just put it up again. So do you know what that is? I went back here to I was kind of small. I went back here. I got like a nice rotating bookshelf. So do you know any of this stuff? So so this is like my whole take on how you deal with and manage the information problems where it seems like throwaway. Well, a lot of the books that still remain, they're here. Yeah. So okay. So if you remember Miniclip games, at least at one point they might have migrated to JavaScript, but they were in a technology called Flash. Okay. And Flash was made by Macromedia. So if I don't know how long ago you were Miniclip, but if I don't know if you remember, you would have to like install like a plugin like in the browser, and it was usually like a Flash based plugin. So I actually still have like old Flash books, and that's the thing. I remember when we had Flash websites. Flash websites were way better than the web we have today. The problem was that there was no standard because you can do whatever you wanted. Oh, so here's the problem. Here's the problem. What you just said. Thanks. Yeah, I'm sorry. We're going lesson number 2. Does that say Adobe? Do you see anything on here that says Adobe? That's not an Adobe product. That's not an Adobe product. It's not an Adobe product. You aging me, bro. You are aging me. This is my best conversation. I was telling my wife, I don't even know what I'm gonna do. I'm struggling to know the days of what to bring on here. This is my best. That's not. You don't see Adobe on there because Flash is not an Adobe product. It's crazy. Wow. Flash was made by Macromedia. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They sure did. They sure did. The products that Adobe, so Adobe has Photoshop, but the original, okay, so if you know Flash, do you know Dreamweaver? Do you know, let me see, with the Macromedia. Yeah, they definitely brought them out. So they had Fireworks was their graphics program. Photoshop was also out though at the time. Yeah. Make the pick. If you're still around, have you ever heard of Macromedia? Shockwave. So okay, so cool. You know Dreamweaver. So those were made by Macromedia. You have Freehand, real quick, and let me know if I mess up. But so this is the lineup here. So you got Flash, Dreamweaver, Fireworks, Contribute, Code Fusion, Director, and another one I use, Freehand. Flex was kind of late in the game, so they basically had a whole suite, which became the Adobe suite. I just read off Shockwave Director. So I remember, I think Shockwave was the thing that you had to install at some point in the when you were dealing with Miniclip. For some reason that kind of triggers me. But yeah, so that's the origin story, and they found a way. You moved into the Adobe era. Now granted, Photoshop and Illustrator, they probably had a few more tools, but those were like the popular ones. Yeah, you remember Shockwave, of course, man. Yeah, that's your childhood. I get it. Same here, man. But the way that the web wasn't defined on where it was going at the time. And I'm speaking not as like a historian or a scholar. I'm speaking as a user. I broke into these things. Flash was super cool, man. And eventually, the web standards changed. Everything became more standardized, and we kind of moved away from it, and it rendered it useless. And I would say JavaScript helped that because all of these games that were designed in like Flash, they became easier in JavaScript. Not from the perspective, I can't speak because I wasn't coding back then, but I can't speak from the perspective of the how hard it was to make the game. It's more about making the user not have issues. So the browser became the application engine, so to speak, right? So and then you go even further once tablets are in play, once the iPad and the the original Android tablets, the browser's what is your view into the world. That's your application. So the start menu, it doesn't have as much value once you move into that. So all of these things were like heavier applications and you needed plugins, and we moved away from that. We had to just be browser based and easy. So JavaScript is an easy choice. But if the world was more diverse, I think I would have loved to see what these tools could be. You said, I guess my brain just overrode it with Adobe since it took over at some point. Yeah, I mean, that's the goal, right? There was another technology. Um, I don't know how much you know about like e-commerce, but Adobe purchased Magento. I was working with that not too long ago, and it became Adobe Commerce. So Adobe has that, like, bring them in, let you know, change the name will change, the name will evolve. It's a part of the suite, so you get it. I mean, I guess they're good. They're somewhat good at doing that, but I just I struggle with the diversity that doesn't really happen, right? Like these things need to be diverse because when it's not diverse, then the same thing with the Pebble Watch. Now we're stuck with what we stuck with, and people of age, they don't even know that this is possible. We just take it, we just take an Apple Watch or Android Watch, and that's all that it can be. It can be very creative, similar to like on my desk too. So similar to like a Raspberry Pi, right? Like I thought if I had to go back and say what the world was going to be like, and they told me about a little computer that you could buy for $50, I mean, with case and the whole computer, and it all fits on a little disc, SD card, I would think everyone has one. I would think that you keep it on, like, remember when they do like the attachments for the phone to your arm and you just go run with it. I just run with my computer around because for this to be a computer and be capable, there's a diversity there, but we don't take that opportunity. Pretty limiting. But that's all, man. I don't wanna harp too much. If you got any lasting thoughts, I'll definitely respond to them. We've been on the stream for an hour and 33 minutes, so I definitely accomplished something. Thanks for riding out. Really appreciate you. Let me see if anyone else. I'm still trying to, make a lot of this stuff automatic, and we'll definitely get there. But for now, it is what it is. Um, I did enjoy talking technology. Like I said, I struggle with um I actually think I got 2 subscribers. Yeah, I got 2 subscribers. Thank you so much. I struggle with always wanting it to be like an expert opinion. I by no means am a subject matter expert, but if you learn something, that's super cool. I think my hardest, like I said, the hardest part about doing the stream, it's not coming on here and talking, it's knowing when to talk. If you want to impact a good number of people, a handful or two handfuls of people is for me like enough. Like I do have a vision of one day having a panel or having interactions with other guests and putting them on. So when we get to that point, it'll obviously be easier. But when it's me here talking, what I'm presenting, you definitely provided the energy today. So shout outs to you. I appreciate you. But that's all, man. I'm gonna get out of here. Make the pick if you're still around. Thanks for hanging out. For whatever reason, I got some good, loving people around because these are moderators, and I'm definitely not a big channel, but we have some deep discussions and we go places. So as I get more comfortable with these tools, that'll be easier. But tonight's chat was super awesome. But that's it, man. I'm gonna just switch to my outro, which is just my intro, and I haven't changed it yet. So for me, that's comfortable. I really appreciate you. I will be streaming tomorrow. It'll be day 16. I don't know how many days I'm going, but for now, it is what it is. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And if I said your name wrong, please fix it in the chat. I'm still hanging out in the chat. If I didn't say it correctly, let me know. But yeah, man, I'm Darnell just talking. Everybody, if you see this on demand, have a good night. Have a blessed day and a good night. I like that. I will talk to you guys later.
Today, we eat blackberries. Come on, let's go.